Good evening and welcome to NXTGEN Season 17. This is the Paramaxed Group A1s and we're here from Hockenheim Classic. More specifically the 1982 to 1991 layout, which is 4.224 miles going through the Black Forest here in Germany. We have 14 drivers currently in. I know someone's ended up, I think Bob is going to have to, I know there's Bob there, so I think someone's going to have to rejoin at some point. Let's have a look at the grid for tonight. We've got Bob Mark 1, D Whitehouse 7, Cam 123 Diz, PZR Jamesy with NGR Tim, Big Bloody B, Shadowstalker DBS, Webby to Johnny, Traumatic Dave, Delez, Rally Matt, Fullfish, RDF1 Adam Morris, and Jack TM53 Synopsis. We are missing the Les at the moment. Is the Les there? Was that in? Oh, there's the Les. We're missing someone. Should have 15 at least. Possibly 16 if GT5 Vas can get in. You watch Bob Mark 1 on his outlap. And the guys working quite hard here just to get the tyres at temperature. It's quite a hard circuit to get your tyres up to temp. Just purely because of the long straights. And it's pretty big inkling that the Ford Sierra Cosworth is going to be the car to beat here, as the guys go around for their first timed laps. Quite work on my computer. So as the guys go down the first straight, okay, find the standings for you guys. You see Johnny going through the first of the chicanes. So current championship standings are as follows. Cam 123 Diz leads the way in this championship on 73 points after winning last time out at Silverstone Classic. The Les is currently second on 63 with Jack on 62. Fullfish has 60 with Adam Morris on 50. Johnny has 42 with D Whitehouse on 38. Shadowstalker 25. Bob Mark 1 24. Rally Matt also has 24. Migs at the W is on 19 with Jamesy on 15. Big Bloody B has 13 with Tim on 10 along with Dramatic Dave. Tyler House on 9. Weedaz on 7. Cobra on 4 and GT5 Vas still yet to score. So as you get round to the first set of corners, Epic Legend, those heroes are going to have to keep the boost levels on the corners. The turbo lag is unbearable. Yeah, it's not the greatest turbo lags, to be fair. Not going to lie, but it's what the drivers have to work with as the Les goes through to complete his first lap here. And Morris crosses the line, goes quicker with a 217.5. Jack 216.7. I'm trying to pick up a driver here. Oh, Tim's had a bit of an off. Big Bloody B, their Shadow Stalker. Johnny at the top end of the circuit right now, Traumatic Dave. Rally Matt's perfect. Go on board with Rally Matt then. So, off the start line, you head towards Nord Curve, the first turn. Hit the brakes, get it tucked in. Don't really want to clip the curb too much. You can use some of the curb on the outside, but again, the track limits will not be helpful. Then you head down the first straight before you go towards the Brems Curve 1, the first of the 3 chicanes. Obviously, the second chicane at the top. Built into limit speed through the Ost curve, which used to be one sweeping corner. So up to Brems Curve 1 eventually. Hit the brakes in a straight line. Got to be careful you don't take the first entrance, because that is not a wise effort. Flick right, flick left, and then head on out of Brems Curve 1 towards Brems Curve 2. You've got to be really careful with the first one, because it's really easy to mistake that little shortcut where the motorcycles go as your entry point, and it genuinely isn't. So anyway, enters Brems Curve 2. Flick it right, down a few gears. It's quite a straight line chicane. If you get it right, you can gain a lot of time for Brems Curve 2, and then you head through Ost Curve, which is flat afterwards. Down the back straight we go, and we're going to head towards Brems Curve 3. We have just 3 minutes remaining, so these guys only get 3, possibly 4 laps. So again, hit the brakes, careful of the curb. You don't want to hit it too much. You can see that it bounces the car around and does unsettle it as Matt goes a little bit sideways. Out of Brems Curve 3. Down the straight as we head towards the stadium section of the circuit. Into Egypt Curve. And down a couple of gears, just get it nicely tucked in and bring the throttle in on the exit. Sax curve, a really nice hairpin. It's cambered in, so you can carry more speed than normal. So you're using the camber. If you flick it left, flick it right, jack to the lap time invalidated. Hit the brakes into Opal Curve, then Sud Curve. Use the curve on the outside to try and maximise the line through Sud Curve. All the power to the line. Matt goes 6th quickest on that attempt to 2:23.2. PMR James, he's just coming to the start of another lap. He's currently in 9th place at 2:25.3. Now, Jack sent me through a few things of stats. Let's see if I can find them again. There we go. So top line speeds down the straights. Jack done a bit of testing on this to give us a bit of information to talk to whilst we're in qualifying with a minute to go. The Ford can reach 160 miles an hour, with the Audi and Nissan getting 153. The Mercedes is capable of 150 miles an hour, and the BMW 147. So the Ford a massive straight line advantage tonight, which is why you'll see Jack and Adam Morris. Where's Traumatic Dave? Traumatic Dave having a good qualifying at the moment. 8th place on a 2:23.3. If he can get the car through the corners, I think there's still more time to be had from him as he enters. That is Brems Curve 3. So if you are watching tonight, do pop in the comments who's going to win this race, as qualifying is now over. Just watching Traumatic Dave 88 in the Ford Sierra, number 87, coming through the Sax curve. Dramatic Dave crosses the line. What can he do? Puts his 7th ahead of Rally Matt. So 223.1 in the end for him. Here comes D. Whitehouse. Through Opal Curve and Sud Curve. Oh, he's run wide. That's going to be the lap time invalidated. Across the line anyway. I'm surprised he didn't do any starts. Cam's finished. The Les is still going flat out. Who is next across the line? Jack has now... that's Adam Morris who's finished. Bob Mark 1. Currently 12th in the BMW. Stays 12th in the BMW. I don't really know what Tim's doing. That's some shenanigans going on. Jack is still on a lap here. He's got 0.9 to find because Adam Morris has put in a 2:15.7. The Les just coming around. Who's just coming around the final corner? It's Johnny. Johnny does not set a lap time. Weird one from Johnny. The Les up to the line. Rusud Kirby's trying to push as much as he can. He's 3.4 off. Those Fords really dominant. I think the only way one of them's not going to win tonight is if they have a crash together. Les does better his time now, 2:19.0. Very nice. Very good time actually that. Can Jack go any faster? He's still pushing, which means he's definitely got a good time in. But he's not quick enough. Adam Morris takes pole position away from Jack, 2:15.7 to Jack's 2:16.5. A cracking lap time from Adam Morris there. The Les lines up third with Four Fish alongside. Row 3 is Cam and D. Whitehouse 7. Row 4, Traumatic Dave and Rally Matt. Row 5, Big Bloody B and PZR Jamesy. Shadow Stalker and Bob Mark 1 line up on row 6. Tim and Rebby's Johnny round out in the 7th and final row. Give the Johnny's a couple minutes to have a bit of a cool down. Be prepped. What a time from Adam Morris though. See them chatting away about what happened in quali. Right, the drivers are ready, so it's time to get racing. Oh, do they have the... Oh, they might actually now have the 2-minute cooldown. Which is annoying, because not how it was set up to be. Anyway. We're getting ready, the 3 red lights. We are green at Hockenheim Classic for the Paramax Group A1s. And it looks like a good start from Adam Morris, who keeps the lead as we head up towards turn 1. The Les and Jack fighting here with D. Whitehouse, who's gone down the inside. No, that's Les on the inside, sorry. He's into second, but here comes the power of the Ford. Adam Morris leads. This is not what Jack needs. Look at that Ford go. Once it stretches its legs, there is no stopping it. Looks like we're away cleanly, though. Oh, Traumatic Dave with Full Fish. Trying to use that slipstream. He falls in behind Cam. Oh, and that's a weird off from the Ford. He's trying to return to circuit as safely as possible. Well navigated around Brems Curve 1. But Dramatic Dave almost just not quite getting the right line for definite through the first Brems curve. Rally Matt fighting with, that is Peter R. Jamesy as they head into Brems curve 2. Jamesy concedes position. You don't want to be going side by side through there. Too much risk, and Jack is in the lead. We've missed it, but Jack is now in the lead, and but Adam Morris is still there for company. Melez is third, D. Whitehouse is in fourth, Fourfish fifth, but he's got a bit of company in the hands of Cam. Actually, Cam's gone past him, and here comes web user Johnny down the inside into Brems curve 3. And Johnny up into 6th place. Fourfish, I wonder if he had a penalty from Brems curve 2 to serve. Oh, bit of a tap between Fourfish and Big Bloody B. Nothing, and there's a spinner in the background. That is Tim. Looks like Tim and Bob. Oh, that's not ideal from Tim. I think possibly an accidental bump there. Back at the front though, Jack is leading from Adam. Fourfish back ahead of Johnny. What strikes me is that the Nissan is a very high ride height compared to all the cars. It just looks higher than everything. Better line though from Fourfish compared to Johnny into Sud curve. And Jamesy, I think he's had a drive-through penalty for a false start. So this is going to put him down a few places. Shadowstalker goes through. Here comes Traumatic Dave. I think he'll get out in front of Tim and Bob. But I can only assume that he's received that as a penalty for a jump start. Yes, he is back out ahead of the 2 cars at the back of Bob and Tim. Bit of a shame though. So, Rally Matt has a bit of work to do to get up to Big Bloody B, and Fourfish has yet again been overtaken by Johnny. He's not far behind. But far from ideal from the Nissan man. Meanwhile, the 2 at the front. On board with the bonnet of Adam Morris as we head towards Brems curve 3 for the second time of 10. Braking earlier than Jack, obviously having to scrub off the more speed because of the slipstream that it provides. Guiding it through Brems curve 3 quite nicely. He's not really got the run he needs though to go down to the same section to challenge Jack. A flash of the lights from Jack, which says to me these two may be working together here to get clear of the field. I mean, they're already 5.5 up on the les together. Meanwhile, Johnny has Fourfish yet again on his left-hand side. Is the end of the Egypt curve. Fourfish can't quite complete the move, but he is forcing Johnny to defend into the south curve. Oh, and Fourfish kept it round the outside just ever so slightly. And we're getting a little bit of a squeeze from Johnny. It was an ambitious move. Big Bloody B just behind Fourfish. Meanwhile, Rally Matt has Shadowstalker for company. See that out? Oh, and Shadowstalker, that is going to go round me, son. Good recovery, though. Nice bit of driving that from Shadowstalker to recover the car. At the front, though, 2 Sierras onto lap number 3 as they enter Brems curve 1. My oh my. These two, I can't believe I'm seeing them work together. Normally these two are scrapping it out for their position. Fourfish trying to catch back up with Johnny here. It looks like he's just a little bit more confident through the Brems curves. He's only got 0.9 to go to get to the Audi man. We enter the bumper cam of Fourfish as we head up towards Brems Curve 2 and Ost Curve. Less curb taken on the right, maybe just allowing him to get a lot more throttle on earlier. PZR James now has a penalty for track limits. But Fourfish, we've got a run here on the Audi. I don't think it's going to be enough to challenge into Brems Curve 3. But I think if Fourfish gets this right, he's going to have a chance into the stadium section. Completely different lines, less curb taken by Fourfish. He's lost a bit of time because of that. Cameron's in third place now. And now D. Whitehouse down to fifth, so I don't know whether D. Whitehouse has made a mistake somewhere. So he's doing similar times to Cam last time around. Interesting to see what happens this time around, but he's not going to have Johnny on his tail. And the fastest lap also gets a point, because today is, as they say, Turbo Mondays, where all three of the Monday Night Tours sponsored by Powermaxed here at NXTGEN go to the same venue. Not necessarily the same layouts for all three, but they're the same venue nonetheless. D. Whitehouse go under scrutiny, but meanwhile, Adam Morris, that gap says to me he's alongside. He is alongside, up towards Brems Curve 1, down the inside he goes in the Zippenol machine. And he's had to give that one back. Looks like the game's penalised him there for a little bit of a cut corner as he went past Jack, so he's had to give it back. But definitely want to keep your eye on here. Meanwhile, Johnny, yeah, you see that D. Whitehouse put in a 2:26.8 that time around. So he definitely made a mistake somewhere. So that was Johnny and Fourfish got in the back of him. And oh dear, Rally Matt has unfortunately disconnected. He's running in a solid 9th place there. And he has disconnected, I'm afraid to say. So he'll be our first retirement of the evening. On board with the Nissan once again. They enter Brems Curve 3. A lot more curb taken, and Fourfish is going to take this opportunistic move. What a great bit of driving from the Nissan man. Johnny getting held up with D. Whitehouse just ahead of him. Fourfish sees the gap. It's a Nissan-sized gap, and he slots it straight in. And he's now looking at D. Whitehouse 7 round the outside of the A-Jip curve. That's not quite going to work. Got to be careful now because Johnny's on his tail, so he's got to attack and defend here. Yet again, looks to the outside of the Sachs curve, and Johnny has sent it to the inside this time through the Sachs curve. They're still side by side through the little chicane, and Fourfish runs wide. Across the grass. Oh, and a collision on the entry. Fourfish goes round. And that's going to cost him a whole heap of time. He's now behind Big Bloody B. Johnny put it down the inside of the Sachs curve, and Fourfish running out of room really through the little chicane before the Opal curve. Meanwhile, the two Fords at the front of the pack. This is lap number 5. They are side by side yet again as they head towards Brems Curve 2. Hear those engines scream. They do sound all lovely. And Adam Morris is off. He's gone wide at the Ost curve. That could settle the battle here for the lead. Adam Morris has lost out big time there. He's now 4.4 behind. And I'm afraid to say, probably not a lot left to give on that one. Looking at the comments, I'm basically only with a hands over the eyes moment on that one. And the budget sim racer, which I believe is Speedy Gone Hogo. Correct me if I'm wrong, mate. I believe that's Speedy Gone Hogo, who's going to be in the modern touring cars after this. Thank you for the kind comments of the commentating. Yeah, the TC class is going to be an absolute stun around Hockenheim GP. That's for certain. Meanwhile, we've got a battle to focus on because Johnny is past D. Whitehouse. In the meantime, D. Whitehouse has a little bit of work to do. Full Fish is back past Big Bloody B. I think that was a pretty much going to be pretty standard, but he's got 8 seconds now in 5 laps, which is going to be quite tough, although we know how fast Full Fish can be. This is the closest battle on the circuit right now. D. Whitehouse can only let us borrow his helmet for a camera view. Obviously, he doesn't move his head very much whilst he's in the cockpit, so he runs a little bit wide through Nord Curve, but again, nothing too serious. Probably the right-hand side still on the circuit. We can't quite see the full right-hand side of the car. You can get the idea, but we've got the slipstream up towards Brems Curve 1. Are we going to look for a move? Johnny sticking it in the middle of the circuit, but has he left the door open? Yes, he has. Oh, D. Whitehouse thought about it. He really did think about putting it there, but he's put Johnny right off the line through Brems Curve 1. The Next Gen Racing boys putting on a spectacle of a show at the moment. D. Whitehouse looking to the weird enough on the outside, really trying to put Johnny off as we enter the Brems Curve 2. And that's a hell of a line. If D. Whitehouse has got away with that penalty free, he should have a good run towards Brems Curve 3. As we head down towards... Nah, D. Whitehouse didn't get away with it. He's had to back off on the entry to Brems Curve 3 because he's lost the time. Bit of a shame. It looked tight from the onboard there, but that obviously confirming that the game judged it to be a cut of Brems Curve 2. Meanwhile, Full Fish has pulled in a 1 second here. NGR cracking scrap. It looks like Adam Morris has made another mistake because he's now 10.5 seconds behind Jack. Probably pushing to try and make up the time. He's got the Les not too far behind, but again, the Les ultimately needs to be ahead of that Ford Sierra to even stand a chance. Peter Jamesy's up into 9th place now with Shadow Stalker behind, although he does have a penalty as Jamesy. Other than that, Traumatic Dave there. He's not too far behind Bob if you can utilise the straight line pace of that Sierra. Back to the battle though for 5th place. It's just half a second in it. I tell you, it's a real shame that we can't go like on the roof looking behind. Be a great camera shot on this game, but unfortunately we can't bring that to you. And here comes D. Whitehouse yet again, looking to put Johnny off his line. This time Johnny not put off by that, although he's taken a lot of curb, which is not going to help his exit. Really compromising the mid corner there. And yet again, D. Whitehouse just filling the mirrors here. You're on the bumper view of the Audi. Here on lap 7, the Les is past Adam Morris. Meanwhile, that's going on. We'll check in on that in a minute as we just enter Brems Curve 3. Nothing happening here, and Adam Morris now making a move on the Les into the stadium section. A-jip curve. The Les sticking around the outside of the four-wheel drive, coming into his own. And yep, the traction of the Audi doing wonders for the Les. Johnny still under attack here from D. Whitehouse, but D. Whitehouse doesn't look like he can get anything done at the moment. Back to the two Audis. We're just going to flick between these two battles because it's fantastic to see a couple of battles on circuit. D. Whitehouse, a better line in my opinion through Sudcurve. It should give him a good run. Meanwhile, talking about good runs, that's that overtake for Adam Morris done before he's even reached the second part of that straight. It's amazing how fast that Sierra is in a straight line. It is absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, Johnny and D. Whitehouse still going at it. Bob and Traumatic Dave. Not as close as the timing screen makes it look. Back with Johnny and D. Whitehouse because Adam Morris has already pulled 1.2 seconds over. Make that 2 seconds over the Les as they're side by side. Johnny having to go defensive through Brems Curve 1. While this is happening, Fourfish is closing in, possibly not quite at the rate he needs to. It's only about a second a lap, but these two keep on fighting like this as D. Whitehouse again looks to fill the mirrors, forcing Johnny onto that tighter line through Brems Curve 2 into Ostkurve. This could get very tasty indeed by the end of the race. And Jack is coming up to lap Tim at the moment on lap 8. But yet again, D. Whitehouse 7 unable to get past Johnny through the Brem. That's an interesting line. I think that one might earn you a slowdown. Although Johnny slow on the exit, they're side by side. I'd be amazed if D. Whitehouse didn't get a penalty for that one. He literally hopped over the circuit. Sullivan Stacey, Cam doing a solid job as D. Whitehouse 7 round the outside makes the move. Fantastic stuff by Dave. And the number 44 back up into the top 5. Cam doing a solid job in the slow Mercedes. Yes, he's doing, to be fair, he's not got the credit yet. It'll come at the end. He hasn't got much TV time as Cam. He's been on his own. But yeah, fantastic effort at the moment, up in 4th place. That Mercedes, the second slowest down the straight. Into 5th place go. There's Johnny. Fourfish 2.5. That's the time he needs to catch. I'm certain Johnny's not going to be done with D. Whitehouse at the moment. With this slipstream, he should be able to catch up. And Adam Morris yet again. Looks like he's had an incident or an accident somewhere because he's back behind the Les. And he's got 2.7 to catch up here. For TV's sake, here is Cam in 4th place in that Mercedes. A fantastic effort. He really is the Mercedes master when it comes to the Group A1s. If there's ever a Mercedes only race, you definitely put money on this man as a favourite to get the victory. Meanwhile, the battle for 5th, as I've said previously, is still not over. And Fourfish 2.2 behind, but these two have not been fighting as they have been previously. But I think Johnny's about to change that as they come towards Brems Curve 3 for the penultimate time. And we also have a bit of a battle as D. Whitehouse going defensive because Johnny's there and they've both gone off at Brems Curve 3. Here comes Fourfish. Bullfish up into 6th. He's going to allow look for 5th. He's going to have to run down the straight. D. Whitehouse, nothing he can do about it. He's down to 6th. I think possibly, unfortunately, Johnny turned in a bit early, not expecting D. Whitehouse to still be there. Although he's going to go side by side into a chip curve. D. Whitehouse a little bit wide. He's lost out the place to Johnny. Either that or D. Whitehouse actually ended up understeering off, causing Johnny to go with him, and Fourfish now into the top 5. And there's Adam Morris. He's still 2.4. He's having a not the best race. That car, he should really be with Jack, but obviously that incident at Ost Curve where he's just gone off really has say ruined his race. It's not done it any good, that's for sure. Johnny still right on the back. Meanwhile, Big Bloody B, PZR Jamesy, they're having a battle of their own right now as they come out of Sud Curve. That looks like Tim has decided enough's enough. There's Bob and the Shadow Stalker. Meanwhile, Big Bloody B comes to fend off Johnny. We'll go back to him for the minute, because he is currently still ahead of D. Whitehouse 7 on board. We're looking to that. Oh, this could be a very sneaky move from D. Whitehouse 7. He's got to the outside, which makes it the inside for Bram's Curve 2. They're going to try it side by side through the chicane. Oh, D. Whitehouse gives way. Oh, it would have been such a clever move had that worked for D. Whitehouse. And using the reverse logic around the outside for the first bit to try and get the inside for the chicane. Didn't quite work. Meanwhile, this man has had literally no coverage whatsoever apart from the start, because he's been faultless. Although this is the part where he doesn't become faultless. He spun it. The leader has spun. Jack, he's got to get on with it. They're coming Opal Curve for the Les. He's got away with it. Jack Team 53 Synopsis wins here at Hockenheim Classic. The Les will clinch second. A fantastic effort by him, not giving up. He'll take the podium. Adam Morris in 3rd. Tim there comes home in 13th. Cam, here he is. A fantastic drive. Absolutely fantastic from the Mercedes. He comes home a very, very solid 4th. Fourfish will come home in 5th. Meanwhile, the long battle behind. Johnny, he's got a penalty, as has D. Whitehouse. I think probably the same penalty, but Johnny will take 6th place. And D. Whitehouse 7th. A fantastic race, long battle from the two Audis. You couldn't ask for more. PZR Jamesy has overtaken Big Bloody B in the later stages of this race, but he does have the penalty. Here he is. Jamesy claims 8th place, but does his penalties outweigh the gap he's got to Big Bloody B? I would think so. Yes, it does. So Big Bloody B takes 8th from PZR Jamesy in 9th. Shadow Stalker will come home in 10th. Look at the comments. Yeah, race long battle. Very, very good from those two. Bruce laughing. And if he threw it away, then yeah, I think that would not have gone down well with Jack if he threw it away then. Traumatic Dave has overtaken Bob. He's currently 11th with the Ford Sierra. He doesn't enjoy it, that's for sure, the Ford Sierra Colesworth. Not one of his favourite cars. He's found out this season as he enters Sachs Curve. Down towards Opal Curve. And that which came before it. It's been a solid race for Traumatic Dave. And he almost does a jack and throw it away on the final corner. 11th place for Traumatic Dave. It'll be 12th for Bob. More points on the board. The commentary, yeah, thank you for your comments. It's always enjoyable on the Mondays to commentate on this. As you can see, the race long battles. More commentary on the way up. I'll talk about that in a minute. So Jack, provisional results from tonight. Jack takes the victory and fastest lap of the race, followed by the Les in second, Adam Morris third, Cam fourth, Full Fish fifth, Johnny sixth, D Whitehouse is seventh, Big Bloody B in eighth, PZR Jamesy ninth, Shadowstalker 10th, Traumatic Dave 11th, Bob Mark 1 12th, Tim rounds out the grid in 13th, and unfortunately Rally Matt ended up disconnecting earlier in the race. Bit of a shame because he was running in 9th place and possibly would have got 8th, maybe slightly higher. Yeah, next up we have the modern touring cars from Hockenheim GP. Again, I'll be streaming and commentating on that one, so that'll be up in about 10 minutes-ish time, so do stay tuned on the channel. I'll be closing this stream, reopening another one, gets his own stream, so hopefully you'll join me on that one. Next week would normally be the break week, but I believe if I'm correct in my dates and diaries, I'm sure Jack will probably tell me I'm wrong afterwards. Next week we do have Group A1 action. It's the 150th race for the Group A1, so we're heading to Nürburgring Nordschleife, the 24-hour layout, and everyone's in the M1 Pro cars, so do stay tuned for the Group A1s next week, because there is some racing. But from myself and everyone here, thank you to PowerMax Racing for sponsoring the league. It's fantastic to see, and thank you guys for watching the stream. Obviously, do stay tuned on the channel for more for the modern touring cars up next. But for myself and the Group 8 ones, thank you all for watching. Good night.